to create exactly the flyer you are seeing on the screen. Now to start with, let's go to page 2. Now you're on the second page. I clicked on this plus to create a new page. I've created a new page. Let's enter the size of the design, the dimension. I come over here. Let me set my unit on inches. Then I am using 2 inches as the width, then the height 2 inches. So the size is set. Then the next thing is to input my text. So I come over here to type out the text. I have my text on the screen. The next thing I have to do now is to start arranging the text, then see how to come up with the design. So to achieve that, I've set my canvas already on 2 inches by 2 inches. The next thing is to create a rectangle that is exactly the size of my canvas. So you just double click on the rectangle tool. So I have the rectangle already. Let me give it this gray color. That is gray color, a little bit white. Now after giving it gray color, then I go back to my polygon tool. From there you go to your banner shapes. So after clicking on your banner shapes, you check your property bar. So over here you select this specific type, then you draw it out. So that's one of the banner shapes that I used on my design. So after selecting the banner shape I give it red color. Then double click on this fill over here. So after you double click on it, you will see the configuration of the red. Cyan is 0, magenta and yellow is 100%. So you can increase the black. So as you increase the black, what happens? It makes the red appear darker. So something like ox blood. Then coming to your property bar, you rotate it at 90 degrees. So that's what I'm having here at the moment. You now bring it in. So after bringing it in, using your shape tool, you drag this node out a bit, something like this, just to adjust the way the banner shape was curved. Now after dragging out the edge, give it a yellow outline. Then using your F12 on your keyboard, if the F12 did not work on your keyboard, you double click on this your outline pane so that you can adjust your outline. That's the thickness. I'm dragging it out so that we can see it. I come to the width, make sure it is on point. You can click on this place and make sure it is on point. Then I adjust the width of my outline to something like 8 points. So after adjusting the width of the outline, just choose this. So the outline have been adjusted. If it appears to be too thick, you can just double click on this again and reduce it to 4 points. Let's see. Wow, I think this is better. Then you power clip it inside your rectangle. So I have power clipped the banner shape into the rectangle. The next thing is you edit your power clip. To edit your power clip, there are various ways. One of the methods is you right click on the shape and you select edit power clip. So after selecting edit power clip, you now drag this out of the canvas a little. So only the parts that you want to be seen is what we allow to remain in the canvas. Then when you finish adjusting it, right click on it and you select finish editing this level. So this is what I'm having here for now. Then you edit your power clip again. You cannot duplicate this, make it 2. To duplicate, I carry it with my left click, and when I want to drop it, I drop it with the right click, so it will duplicate. I come again. To duplicate an object, you drag it with your left click while holding your left button on your mouse, then you drop it with the right button. So that's the easiest way to duplicate an object. Then I pick one of these again, duplicate another one, so making 3. This one I return it back to 0. That's on rotation. I return it back to 0. I now position this here. But what I want over here I use shift and page down to send it down, that is to the back of these other two banner shapes. So I use shift and page down to send it down. So that's how I achieve that. Then this one again, you will still duplicate it using your left click to move it, and you drop it with your right click. So send it down as well. So select the first one, hold shift, select the second one, shift, page down. So I've sent the two down. So with this now, I have successfully created my background. But let me just do a little adjustment to it. So I select this, then drag it in a little bit more, drag it in a little bit more, then drag this place up a little, this place down a little. Alright, so I have my background arranged. The next thing is to start arranging my text. I bring in the text, Ambassador T-Money. If the fonts appear to be too big, I can adjust it to 10 points. Okay, so over here now, I have the text Ambassador T-Money over here on the screen. Then after selecting the text, I bring the next one, Educational Consultant, and I start arranging them one after the other. This one I can make it 6 points so that it will be on a straight line. Educational Consultant. So you start arranging your text. That's the next thing you do. Alright, so I have this here now, the Educational Consultant. I can now pick up another rectangle tool over here. So after selecting the rectangle tool, then I give it the same wine color, that's the ox blood. I right click on this sign to remove the outline. So after giving it another color, then I power clip it inside. It appears that it is staying above the banner shape. I use shift page up after editing the power clip and send it down. So this one I've gone in also. Then my text, I give it a white color. So over here now, I'm bringing in another rectangle like what I'm having here. Then I give it a yellow color. So I am using a warm and cool color contrast. Yellow is a warm color and the ox blood is not a warm color, it's a cool color. It is not shouting, it is not flashy. So I am placing a light color on a dark color. That is the principle I am adopting here. So now over here, I power clip this inside, right click on it, I power clip this inside, edit the power clip, then push it again, power clip it again inside the banner shape. So that's what I'm having here. So the banner shape becomes the container for this specific shape. So I have this here. Then I now put the text, expertise in all kinds of online registration. So let me remove the outline. I right click on this sign to remove the outline. Now I have this text over here. Then I give it the ox blood color. I'm still working with just two color. You can zoom your work in so that you can be able to see it properly. Then I think my canvas is carrying a black outline. I remove it also. F4. So now over here I have this expertise in all kinds of online registration. Then pick up your texts. So looking at the text, I want it to align to my right hand side. You come over here and you click on right. So all the text will be aligned to the right. So this is what I'm having here at the moment. Using my shape tool, I will just drag this place down so that I will be able to space the texts. I will be able to space the text. So over here, this is the highlights. So just paste this place up, push it up a little. So I think this is okay. To my toolbox, select another rectangle. So after drawing this here, and I will still use the same gray color. So I just want to just come in with a gray color, then power clip this inside. The color is white. Select the image, I put it on a gray color. Now this is what I'm having here at the moment. I can now come back to my toolbox, select my shape tool, and adjust this a little. So this is what I'm having here. Alright, then I now have other information to apply on my design. This is the email account, then I have the phone number. You bring them up. With what I'm having here, it is setting that I'm done with the arrangement of the text. I think to an extent I'm good to go with this. What you now look at, the ambassador. Over here I used a fountain fill. So over here, you come over here and use your interactive fill tool. After selecting your interactive fill tool, you drag it to your right. After dragging it out, look at this node here. This is black. You click on this point. Let's use red and use a dark red over here. Then we come to the second point. This white node, you click on it. After selecting it, the node color, and you use red. So that's what I'm having here. This one, let's use pure black. Okay, so we've selected pure black. You can drag this in a little and also drag this in a little. So we've dragged in the two, ambassador, Simone. Alright, now let's look for the images that we put on our designs. So the next thing now, we bring in our images, and to do that you import the image. You don't need to start designing the logos of the institutions you want to input on the design. So what you do is, I have them downloaded already, so I just press Ctrl I, that is to import. If you did not use Ctrl I, you can right click on an empty screen and you select the import option. Or you can use any of the methods depending on the one. So let me go to my desktop folder. So from here I look for the images that I want to input on my design. When you are through with the selection, you now click on import and you begin to drop them inside. But if you don't have these images on your computer, you can just go online, just check your Google, and you download them over there. Then looking at the images, you will discover that some of the images are carrying white background, some are carrying black background. Like this now, this is carrying something like a green and white background. You can just go to your Photoshop. On Photoshop, I've sent you a tutorial earlier that will guide you on how to remove your image background. So you can just remove the image on Photoshop and export it on PNG format. Then after exporting it on PNG format, that makes the background to be transparent. You can now come and input it on your design. Then the next thing, you start arranging them and begin to position them inside your design, like what I'm having here. So this is an example. Then you bring in the next set of images, that's your logo, and you do the positioning. So over here now, I'm having my images fully set to be used. So I have the image of a female core member right here to be applied on my design. Then I can just stretch it out. Then power clip inside. Inside your text, inside your rectangle. So it has been power clipped inside. You can still take it to the second layer so that it can be under the yellow shape. So you power clip it again, then you bring this one, the yellow rectangle, you page it up, shift and page up. So this is what we are having here at the moment. So let's say at this point I am done with my design, but on my background I also want to have an effect instead of using a solid color as my background. So to achieve that, what you do is you import any image of your choice. I can still decide to use this same image just to add effect to my background instead of leaving a solid color on my background. So after selecting this image, power clip it inside. Okay, so I have power clipped it inside. When you power clip an image inside, it helps you to manage what you have on the surface of your screen. So at this point now, just double click on this to edit it. Then this is the image. I select my transparency tool. After selecting transparency, you go to a uniform transparency. You can now increase the transparency to, let's say, something like 80 or 90%. So this image is about 90% transparent. It depends on what suits your design. So let me just stretch it out through the surface. The essence of having this is not for us to see the image, just to have an effect under the color. So this is what I'm having under the color, and it depends on how creative you are with your ideas. I can decide as well, after putting this here, send it down. So this will just be on the gray color, then duplicate, Ctrl D, page up, bring another one on the ox blood. So it all depends on how creative you are with your images, how creative you are with your tools. So this is what I'm having here at the moment. The flyer is ready. The next thing is to have a bullet so that it will help me organize the way I list out my points. So to do that, I will be using the rectangle tool. Just drag in a rectangle. I give it gray color. Remove the outline, then duplicate it. How? You move it with your left button and drop it with your right button. Then you repeat the same thing all through. So I am through with my design. Then at the lower part of the design, I have an effect. Let's go back to page 1. I have an effect at the lower part of the design. How do I achieve that? So having my design on 2 inches by 2 inches, I select all using Ctrl A and I press Ctrl G. That means group. So I have grouped my design. So when you group it, you can easily move it in and out. So with what I'm having here now, I create another rectangle. Since this one is 2 inches by 2 inches, this other one I will make it 3 inches by 3 inches. So press P to move it to the center, like what I'm having here now. So I will give it the same gray color. After giving it the color, you discover that it overrides your normal design. The next you do is you send it down, shift, page down, so it have gone down. Now coming to your ellipse tool, you now select the ellipse tool to draw your circle. You create an ellipse. What I'm having here, you create an ellipse using your ellipse tool, and you give your ellipse the wine color, the ox blood color. You power clip it inside. Simple. So that's what I'm having here. So I have the image over here, import it, transparent, uniform transparency, then adjust the transparency. Let's use 90 or 89%. It's very light, you can see it's a fainting. Then power clip it inside, so it goes inside. Edit the power clip, you can see the image here. Position it on the color just to have an effect. stretch it out. So this is what we have in here. You can still duplicate it to have the same effect on the white. So you see what you're having here now. So when you are through with that, I create another rectangle, just exactly the size of this one. So let's use 2 by 2 inches for that. So exactly the size of our original design. We give it black color. You can make the black to be very dark. Just double click on this point. When you do that, you make all your color 100%, so it becomes very dark. Then you convert it to bitmaps. When you are through, let me increase it a little. When you are through with converting to bitmaps, go back to your bitmaps. You will see where we have blur. Use the Gaussian blur and make it blur a little. Okay, like what we have in here. Select OK, then move this one to the down to the lower part of your design. Just power clip it. So that gives you a shadow effect under your text. You can just select it. Let's use 2.1 by 2.1. Alright, so we've adjusted it. So just have a slight effect of something like a shadow under your text. So with this now, we are through with our design, and I want to encourage you, give this a practice and send it back to me for vetting. You can apply this method to create other design. Now let us have a rundown of all we have done here. For our main design here, we have a rectangle on 2 by 2 inches. The shapes you are seeing here, they are banner shapes. Power clipped inside the rectangle and I dragged it out. What I'm having here also is another banner shape. The first one, the one standing vertically, was rotated at angle 90, and part of it outside the canvas while the rest is inside. The same thing is applicable to the one I'm having at the lower part. Then the footnotes, where you have a successful and stress-free registration, I have a rectangle tool over there, power clipped inside. Over here also is a rectangle tool. Over here is a rectangle